So, good morning, boys and girls. I was just along the back wall here looking at some vines that I know I'm going to have to cut. And look what I found. In this little space behind some rocks and underneath the jade plant, I found a little house. This must be the new place that the little people are meeting every day. I'm so excited. I wonder what these things are. So I'm noticing a couple of clues here about what maybe the little people are up to. I notice a shovel and like a beach pail, and that makes me think like if they borrowed their parents' little garden shovel and they have a pail, they plan to do some digging. And the other thing I noticed is that there's a snack up here. There's a little bag of crackers and a water bottle. So that means they're going somewhere, and they're going somewhere to dig. And then there's another clue here, and I don't know what this is. So I'm gonna open it up and see what's, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. Can you see that? It's some sort of treasure map. Wow, that's so cool. So there's shark-infested waters, I can see that. And then there's, I don't know, like they have to go around a tree or something and along the beach. And then it kind of looks like maybe there's, I don't know what that brown thing is. It's not a lake. Oh, maybe it's quicksand because there's the skull and crossbones. And then they have to go around the mountain and there's a big red X there. I think that might be for treasure. Wow, that's so cool. So I'm gonna roll this back up and put it where they can get it, where they left it, but I bet you they're going out on an adventure to look for treasure. So cool. I'd like to read to you from this book today. It's called The Adventures of Beekle, the Unimaginary Friend by Dan Santet. In the last few days, we've talked about characters, which are the people or the who in a story, and we've talked about the setting, the where in the story. Yesterday, I read to you a book about a shark, and in that book, we talked about plot and how plot has a problem that needs to be solved and a solution. And I like to think of a plot kind of like a treasure map. In the very end, we want to get to the treasure. We want to get the good part. But we have to pass through many dangers or interesting events to get to that treasure, even if it's not dangerous. We need to go along a path to get to the treasure. So I want you to listen to the story of Beekle and think about the path that he follows to get to his solution. So we're going to think about his problem and the path that he gets on to find his solution or his treasure. The Adventures of Beekle, the Unimaginary Friend by Dan Santet. He was born on an island far away where imaginary friends were created. Here they lived and played, each eagerly waiting to be imagined by a real child. Every night he stood under the stars, hoping for his turn to be picked by a child and given a special name. He waited for many nights. But his turn never came. His mind filled with thoughts of all the amazing things that were keeping his friend from imagining him. So, rather than waiting, he did the unimaginable. He sailed through unknown waters and faced many scary things. But thinking about his friend gave him the courage to journey on. Until he reached the real world. The real world was a strange place. No kids were eating cake. No one stopped to hear the music. And everyone needed a nap time. Then he finally saw something familiar, so he followed. He had a good feeling about this place, but he looked everywhere and he could not find his friend. He climbed to the top of a tree and looked out, wishing and hoping his friend would come. But no one came. He thought about how far he'd come and how long he'd waited and felt very sad. Then he heard a noise below. Hello? Her face was friendly and familiar, and there was something about her that felt just right. At first, they weren't sure what to do. Neither of them had made a friend before. But after a little while, they realized they were perfect together. Alice. Beekle. I'm Beekle. Hi, Beekle. Beekle and Alice had many new adventures. They shared their snacks. They told funny jokes. The world began to feel a little less strange. And together, they did the unimaginable. I hope you enjoyed hearing about Beekle. I love the pictures too. They're so beautiful and interesting to look at. Before I started reading, I asked you to think about what the problem is and then what the solution is, and what Beekle had to do on his path to get to the solution or the good treasure at the end. Did you think about the problem? I think the problem is that no child has imagined him and named him, and so he's lonely. He goes out to find a friend, and that's the journey or the path that he goes on. And along the path, he goes into a city and he's looking and he's lonely. And at the very end, he finds Alice, or should I say, Alice finds him and names him Beekle. And that's the treasure at the end of the path. We can also call it the solution. The solution to Beekle feeling sad, the problem of him feeling sad, is Alice, and they find many new things to do together as new friends.